Hey, welcome back. We are chugging through these sprints of Ladybug Shooter. This is sprint number 3, so we've got some tasks in this one. The title looks like it says Power Ups, specifically the Speed Boost. So that should be pretty cool. Let's look at where we're going. I think is a good place to start, actually. So I'm going to click on this in sprint 3. I think I've already got it up as a tab here. In sprint 3. And what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to, when we play the game now, all the other things that we had still work, except for you notice that there's a lightning bolt that pops up. And then whenever I get the lightning bolt, I'm now like super Ladybug, right? Then you slow back down, but if you get the lightning bug again, I didn't get it there, so no power up for me. Oh, there you go, lightning bolt. Yeah, zippity zoom. Bob, you'll also notice that in this version I'm not losing points when they hit the edge, but that's okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of, welcome back everybody. We do a lot of point manipulation later on in some of our other sprints. This is also going to be a sprint where we build the infrastructure for other power-ups that we're going to do in the next video. So there's a few things where we can see the future because we've written the entire game. And so there's going to be some things that we set up today that allow us to do those other things later on a little bit more easily.
Cool. Oh, you can also see we get some points when we collect the power up. It looks like power ups also give you 3 points, so we'll have to do that. But the game is continuing to be fun. I'm zipping and zooming around. All right, so that's where we're headed. And I can see that we've got a new sprite right there. I guess you can kind of see that new sprite coming. Let's see if we can get there, right? So this is the code where we left it last time. So we just finished this in real time, so we're pretty familiar with this point. But we've got full play control. Shooting of enemies works. Also in this version, if they reach the far end, you do lose a point. And the thing we don't have is we don't have power-ups at all, right? It's just not even a thought. We do have, if you get hit, you lose the game, so that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and add ourselves another sprite. It looks like we're going to use the lightning bolt to represent the speed boost, and that makes sense to me. Lightning and fast, they kind of go together. I'm just going to click on Choose New Sprite. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to find lightning. You can scroll for it. That's fine. I think I see it right there. You could also type in lightning, or sometimes you can click on the category if you know what category something's in. So there's my lightning bolt. That's kind of big. Size is always something that you have to try to figure out. As always, there's 2 ways you can manipulate the size. You could come into here and you can make it bigger and smaller. Or you can change the size over here. The only thing you do have to keep in mind is that if you have multiple costumes, they need to be the same relative size to each other. So whatever you pick for this first one, the others are going to kind of sort of need to match it, right? I think that it's a reasonable size there, but if you wanted to, you could just grab a corner and you could make it smaller. It doesn't matter. It's just that you and your game, your future ones, have to match the size. So I kind of arbitrarily made it smaller there. The other thing you could do is you could also change it over here. And the value you're shooting for is whatever looks good to you. There is no has to be type of thing. So Bob, I made mine 50% over here, and I made this some amount smaller over there. I have no idea how he did it in the solution, but we'll figure out how to make it work. Sound good?
I think as long as it looks close, it doesn't matter. This is one of those things where nothing in our code really cares about how big it is. This is just a feel thing, right? So if you in your design of your game want to make your lightning bolt a little bit bigger, I know a lot of kids hear that and think, a little bit bigger? Yeah. I'm going to make it 100% the size of the screen. It will touch me as soon as it appears. But, you know, after you have your fun doing that or making it so small you can't even see it, picking a realistic size so that it's visible but not dominating the space is probably the best for a game feel perspective. So have fun.
Cool.
But
Then rein it in.
Yep.
All right, and so where do we start, right? And so there's a couple different ways you could start. You could think about what the effect does, but I think what I want to do first is I want to take care of just showing it, right? Just showing it and hiding it. And so you'll notice that a couple things happen in the solution whenever I played it. One is it always showed up in a different spot, and it also showed up for only a certain length of time. So it's kind of up for a while, and then it was gone. And then where's it going to be? It's going to be there. At that time, I happened to get it. And then it's gone. So where I want to start is actually that display it for a little while, and then hide it for a little while. And then, you move it somewhere else. And then you display it for a little while, and then you hide it for a little while. So that's all right, my first goal. So here I'm on the lightning bolt. Another thing to think about the lightning bolt is there's only one. There's only one power up, right? And by the way, it's called lightning. I'm going to switch that. I'm going to call it power up because it's going to be all of them, right? And so whenever there's only one, that means no clones, right? So there's no clone things to do here. So I can just go with good old when green flag clicked, and that's how I'm going to start things off. The other thing that we're going to do in this video is we're going to use a lot of functions. Functions in Scratch are called my blocks. We don't really make a lot of my blocks, but one of the things we're going to get practice with in this sprint is just making a lot of these. And so, for example, we're going to make a block that takes care of showing the power up. So let's just go ahead and we'll start off with a block. It'll be great. So click on my blocks, make a block. So we're going to make a function that takes care of show power up. Now you can call it just show, that's fine, or you can call it show power up, or you could call it show power up with no space. It doesn't matter, right? You could also make functions that receive things. That's a little too advanced for us. And this without screen refresh, that's too advanced for us. Just type the name of the function right there and hit OK. By the way, since it's in a sprite called power up, in most coding I would have just called it show, but there was already something called show, so I decided show power up would work. Now this is different. You'll notice that I've got this thing here that looks like an event, right? And then I've also got over here a block that I can bring over and stick onto things. That's kind of cool. So why two? Well, this one right here that you can drag over, this is like all other things. It's something that you can use, right? And I'm going to take them back off because I was just trying to show that. And then this one over here is where you define the function. And so you get to make your own function, which is kind of cool. So what happens when you show the power up? Well, one thing that needs to happen is that it needs to show. So let's go ahead and call show. And then it needs to move somewhere. I'm going to start off with the simple way to do it, and then we'll make it a little more complex. I'm going to, for right now, use the simple approach of go to random position, which works okay, but it's not quite as good as what I want. And then I'm going to wait for so long, and then I'm going to hide it, right? Now, how long should I wait? Also, I don't know why, but I'm going to move this one over here and this one over there. How long should I wait before I hide it? And so you can decide how many seconds you want that to be. I like variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of variables. I'm going to make a how long do I show it for and how long do I hide it for variable. To be honest, these variables are just for code readability. It just helps me understand what the code does if I name a good variable. So I'm going to make two variables here. I'm going to call it power up display, what do I call it here? Display time. This one is kind of back to the old, it doesn't matter which of these you choose. It really has no real impact. I just leave the default whenever it doesn't matter. And then the other one's going to be the power up hidden time. By the way, if you're at an age where you're not very good at typing, you have to get some help or make the name shorter, right? I type just fine, so I just make them nice and verbose.
And when you're coding, when you're typing everything, you have to retype that every single time. There's various code assistants that kind of autocomplete for you, but in Scratch, once you've typed it that one time, you're just dragging it and selecting it, so you never have to type it again. So you don't have to really worry about using a longer variable name in terms of making it more efficient. It does make your code wider as you insert these really long variable names. So it's nice to keep them somewhat short, but you do really want to think about making them descriptive, because chances are after you write code, you're going to forget about the details that you've included. And then you're going to go back and look at your code a year later or even 6 months later. And you're going to not really understand it. And the more hints and clues you can give to yourself, the better. So descriptive variable names is definitely a good strategy, especially for beginning programmers.
Cool. All right, so we're preparing this function. And right now it shows it. It goes to random position. And then it's going to wait for so long. So over in control, I'm going to add a wait. And how long do I want to wait? Well, I'm going to use my variable, right? So this is my power up display time. It's still set to 0, so I should fix that. So go into variables. And I want to, I'll set it first. So there's 2 variables, so I'm going to set them both. Right now it says bullet counter, but I just have to update this. I'm going to set the display time, and I'm also going to set the hidden time. You can use whatever times you want, but our game is set to 3 and 4. So 3 seconds to where you can get it. So it's up, you got 3 seconds to try to get it. As soon as you get it, you receive the power up right away. And then how long do you keep the power up if you got it? And the answer is you keep it for 4 seconds. Or if you didn't get it, how long do you have to wait before you get another chance, right? And so that's how long it's hidden for. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to use that variable there. So that one is my wait power up display time seconds, and then hide. Cool. So whenever I show the power up, those are the things I'm going to do. I'm going to show it, go to a random spot, I'm going to wait there for a while, and then I'm going to hide. That function needs to get called so it can run. It's kind of like, you're preparing this elaborate plan, but you still have to get called so that you can run. Maybe what's a good analogy, Bob? So it's almost like a baseball player who's like really talented, but he's got to get called up to the plate so he can do his thing, right? So somebody's got to call it. I don't know, that wasn't the best analogy, but it was fun. So when the green flag is clicked, what I want to do is I want to have a forever loop that shows it and then hides it. And so I'm going to have a forever loop. This forever loop is going to call that function. So that is now a custom function I got. So all these things are blocks, right? But now we've got this custom one that we made. So I'm going to show it. And then I'm going to wait so long. So I'm going to wait again. How long do I want to wait this long? I want to go to the variables, and I want to wait for the hidden time. All right, I think now I can play it. These 2 variables are taking up a lot of space on my screen, so I'm going to uncheck them. And so now you can see that it showed up over there. Oops, I got to dodge so I can watch my power up. So it showed up down there, should be there for 3 seconds, and then it goes away. And then it's going to show up somewhere different. There it is. Stay there for 3 seconds, and then go away. Great. So it's working out pretty well. It's showing in a random position, which is not terrible. It's okay. The only thing that's weird, there it actually happened. The only thing that's weird about a random position is it might show up right on top of you. It also, there's another one. See how it showed up way in the corner? That was kind of a bummer, right? And so if that doesn't bother you, it's way over there. If that doesn't bother you, you don't have to add this next step. Next step is optional. For some reason, it bothered me, right? It was like fairness, right? Like I didn't like when it showed up way in the corner. And so where do I consider fair? I think it would be fair if it showed up like, I don't know, in some radius, like I imagine a big donut on the screen here. And if it showed up somewhere in that donut, I would consider that fair. I kind of want it to force me to leave the middle, because the middle is kind of too easy to stay in the middle. But I would like for it to show up in like a donut. So I came up with an elaborate scheme to do that. And you can do my elaborate scheme if you want, or you can just keep random position. So I'm going to throw away the random position. And I'm going to introduce this donut concept. This donut concept is going to work like this. It's going to start in the middle. This is actually really similar to how we started the enemies. Do you remember how we did those? We started in the middle, we pointed in a random direction, and then we moved so far. And it's going to be the same concept here. So start in the middle, point in a random direction. So point in a direction, pick random. We could do 1 to 360 again. I'm just curious, is that what we did over here? Yeah, 1 to 360. And then we're going to move so many steps. And so we're going to move so many steps. Now with the crab, we move 300 to force it to the edge. But here with the power up, we're going to make it random. And we're going to pick a fun, healthy range. I'm going to cheat and see what Bob and I picked last time we did this. We picked 40
to 160?
To 160, yep. And you could tweak those numbers until you're happy with them. But you can see this time I showed up really close. Oops, forgot to dodge. That time it showed up only 40 away, so it's always fairly close. It's definitely not going to be way over on the borders, right? Next time it showed up right here. It seems like 160 might be a little low, but I think 160 could get you near the edge, so I think we'll be okay. So 160.
Well, if you're at the center and go straight up 160.
Yeah, that should be. I think that one right there was about at 160. I mean,
and then as it curves around, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think we picked a good distance. And there's other ways to do this. You could mentally create a random X coordinate and a random Y coordinate and create a box of allowable spots where this thing could appear. There's lots of different ways that you could approach this, but if you want to do a radius, a circular zone, this going to the center, moving, and then appearing is probably the most solid way to do that.
It also kind of ended up rotating the power up, which I thought was kind of fun. But cool. So pretty happy with things. The thing you may have noticed if you're watching me play is if you collect it, though, nothing happens, right? Like nothing happens. There's a couple reasons that nothing happens. I thought I could get through that. One reason that nothing happens is we haven't written the code yet, right? That's obvious. Another problem that we have is the time where you collect it is right here, this wait power up display time seconds. Wait functions are not great because while they're happening, nothing else can happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually replace this wait with a different style of code. I'm going to leave it sitting over here just so you can kind of see and compare and contrast them. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a loop that loops for however long that is, that many seconds. And the nice thing about that approach is that inside the loop, you can do stuff, right? Whereas this, there's no way to do stuff in there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a new type of loop. So go to Control, and we're going to use a type of loop called repeat until. So this is the type of loop that we're going to throw in here. And so how do we use a repeat until to do this trick? Well, we need something to kind of keep a stopwatch, right? So a stopwatch would be good. There is a stopwatch built in. It's called the timer. Now the timer, there's only one of them. And so you've got to decide, is this the feature of my game that's going to get the one and only timer? And Bob and I decided, yeah, sure, it's going to be the one and only feature that's going to get the timer. And if that's the case, if this is the only one that needs it, you can do things to the timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset it just before this power up starts. And then I'm going to check it inside this repeat until. So I'm going to repeat until the timer is bigger So I'm just going to do it and then I'll explain it. Repeat until this timer. So repeat until the timer is bigger than display time seconds. Sorry, power up display time. Cool, and so you can see how I use that same variable over here. So now instead of just blocking for that long, it should still do the same thing, except for now it's better because now I can actually do something during that time. So still works. This is what's called a refactor, but now I've got a spot where I can put code. And by the way, you could, I wouldn't recommend this in the real game, but you could show the timer if you wanted. So you can see as soon as it gets up to 3, that's when it goes off. And then when it shows up again, it gets reset, and then it stays there until it gets to 3, and then it hides. And I'm going to take that back off. All right, so what do we want to do inside of here? So this is the time where it's visible. This is the time where you could collect it. We want to let them touch it, right? So let's go ahead and add an if statement. So if, and we want to see about touching. So if we're touching the hero, then we want to essentially give them the boost, right? So they touched it. So there's a lot of things we want to do. We want to give them 3 points. We would probably like to make a sound effect, just because sound effects are fun. I think we even added the sound effect now, Bob. We would like to increase their speed, is what's going to happen for this one. And we also want to set up the structure such that we could potentially have other power-ups later, right? And then another thing we're having to do is we're going to have to remove that effect at the end of the time. So there's a lot going on here, right? I think I'm going to do it in how easy or difficult they are. I find that one of the easiest things is sound effects. This sprite has a pop. I think that sounds pretty easy. So I'm going to, the first thing I'm going to start sound pop. Also pretty easy is giving them a couple of points. I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to choose to change. Make sure you use change and not set. I'm going to use change score. I'm going to give you 3 points. Another thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hide this power up. If you don't, then the moment they get their Ladybug to it, you're just going to get points really fast, and it's going to play a lot of pops, right? And so I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to hide it. And so I'm going to put that right there. These 3 are obviously not the most important. Oh, I got one. Are not the most important things, but they were easy, right? So whenever I collect it, it makes a pop sound, which I think is fun. It gave me 3 points, which I wasn't really watching the score. Yep, it gave me 3 points. And then it also hit immediately. So pretty cool. It's funny, the power-up is helps you, but it actually makes the game harder because now you're like trying to do more at the same time. You're trying to not only dodge and shoot crabs, but you're trying to also collect power-ups. The game... Like, you'll get better at the game as you play it, but the game's actually kind of hard, right? But that's okay. You'll get better at it as you play more. All right, so, man, look at my score go now. So next up, Bob, feel pretty good about things?
Yeah. I think the only thing I noticed that as I was just glancing between our end of Sprint 3 and your path towards the end of Sprint 3, it's a really subtle thing. It's actually on the screen right now. And then this is one of those things about how fast things happen inside of code. You'll notice that Dave, inside of show power up, he shows it, goes to the center, points in a direction, and moves. We don't see that happen. It just appears at its final spot. In our solution, we actually do what might be the more, it might seem like the more logical approach, which is to go to the center, point the direction, move, and then appear, which if things happen slowly would almost be required, right? The way that Dave just manipulated it would be necessary if everything happened very slowly, because we'd see this like weird little icon show up in the center and kind of drag across the screen and then appear, or stop. We want it to just pop there. But because code moves so fast, it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
Dave having the show where he did may not have followed your logic of when it should appear, but those four things are happening, so fast that we never even saw it. But and minor to even bring up, but noticed it, so thought I would.
Cool, appreciate it. All right, so the next thing we want to do is actually giving them the power-up effect, and then also taking away the power-up effect when the next one comes up. I wanted to learn more about blocks, so I'm going to make some more blocks. So the first block we're going to have is going to be called Add Power-Up Effect. If you want to keep it shorter, you can just call it like Add Effect, because we're inside the Power-Up sprite already. But I'm going to call mine Add Power-Up Effect. And you'll notice that it made one of these little blocks to where I can write some code and connect it to there. And then also I've got more things over here I can drag and drop. I'm going to also make the kind of the reverse. I'm going to say remove power-up effect. I'm going to actually call it effects plural. It doesn't matter what you call it, but it's because if there's multiple effects on, it's going to remove them all. Doesn't really matter. I don't know why I chose to make it different, because you only ever add one, but you actually remove any effects that might be out there and happening. All right, so that's my goal, is to write these two functions. Just to switch the order, I'm going to call them right now before I even write them. So when do we want to add the power-up effect, and when do we want to remove the power-up effects? So where we add them should be pretty obvious. We want to add them right inside here. So we play this pop sound, we change the score, and we hide. Those three things are so fast that we can put it anywhere before, after, in the middle of those, and it won't matter. Just grab a power-up effect. I think I'm going to put it at the very start. It does not matter, but I'm just going to put it at the start. So that's where the power effect goes into effect, right? So that's where you get it, because you touched it. So that's good. When do we remove them? Well, my strategy, if you look at the solution, is that you get to keep the effect until the next one shows, right? So when the next one shows, that's when we're going to remove the old effects. So I'm actually going to put that right at the very top. So I'm going to remove right here at the top. Now that might be kind of weird. You might think, oh, it should go at the bottom, but if you put it at the bottom of this script, then you would not get it for those 4 seconds of hidden time. So remove it when the next one shows up, I think makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to let that go right there. All right, so how do we do this? How do we do this effect? Well, the thing that we want to modify is actually the hero's speed. So let's go look at the hero and look at the variables. You'll notice that the hero does in fact have a hero speed, and if I were to click on it here, you would see that it's currently set to 5. And so what I want to do is I just want to change it. And you'll notice that it's a global variable. You know that because it doesn't say like hero colon, because if it was a local variable, it would say hero colon, so it's global. So all I've got to do over here is I can just change the hero speed by 5. Cool. And so now if I run it, if I collect one, you can see that I go up to 10, right? And so now I'm running around and I've got it. Now when the next one shows up, I don't lose the old effect. I actually just can cascade them. Again, this is your game, and you could make it to where you keep an effect forever, but that's not the goal of my game. That's not the goal of like most games, because otherwise you just get crazy fast after a while. I'm going to see if I can get one more. It's kind of fun to do for a little while, so I recommend you try it, but then, yeah, it's not actually a good long-term solution. So what we want to do is we also want a way to remove that effect later. Now, there's 2 ways that you could do this, and Bob and I can talk about and explain why we picked one versus the other. The first thing you probably would think to do would be to change it by -5, right? And so that is perfectly logical, and that would work for this video. However, one of our goals is to future-proof this thing. And I've actually already kind of violated one of my plans. My plan is that I'm going to have many power-ups. This is just one of like 5 different power-ups. And so what I want to do is I want to add the change of speed only if it's a certain one. And then when I remove, I'm just going to wipe them all out. So those are my two goals. So Bob, I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to make this one better before I make this one work. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
So the thing I did that I didn't like, Bob, is I just blindly assumed that the power-up was a lightning bolt. That's fine for now because there is only one, but I think I'm going to plan ahead a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to somehow ask a question. I want to say if the power-up is something, in this, I want to know if it is the lightning bolt, then and only then do I want to change the speed, because eventually I'm going to have a bunch of them. And so how do we know which power-up it is? Well, eventually we're going to randomly choose a power-up that's coming pretty soon, and then we're going to look to see what costume is being shown. And I'm kind of planning ahead a little bit here. Right now my costume is named Lightning. There's nothing wrong with that name. I could leave Lightning, but I could change it. And so I'm going to change mine to say Speed Boost. Boost, O-O-S-T, Bob? Is that right? Yeah, Boost.
B-O-O-S-T.
Yeah, I was thinking boast. I was going to speed boast. I'm so fast.
I don't know if you've been capitalizing your names for any purpose or not, but...
I'm capitalized.
No, it doesn't matter to me. I was more just... You
could also leave spaces if you wanted. There's nothing wrong with spaces.
Is Scratch case sensitive?
It is, yep.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful about. We could try it, but I believe that it is in the instances I've come across.
Yeah, I just used a fancy programming word, case sensitive. You can think about letters when you write them, and depending on your age, you did this a long, long time ago, or maybe just recently in school, writing letters in lowercase and uppercase. Case sensitive means that it matters which letters you capitalize. So boost with a capital B would be interpreted differently than boost with a lowercase b. So if it's case sensitive, you have to make sure that you match wherever you type your actual words. And in actual typing coding, that's far more important. Here, whatever we made up for our variable name, we could just drag it in. So it's always going to be the same. But in your actual coding, if you forget one capital or add a letter, it's a completely different word to the program.
Cool. All right, so I called mine Speed Boost, and I'm going to choose to use that name later. So there's two ways you can refer to a costume. You can refer to it by its number is 1, or you can refer to it by its name. Its name is Speed Boost, and I'm going to show you both ways you could do that in the code. And so in the code, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to say if, and I've kind of got a gap here, and so I'm going to put in this equal sign. And so what I want to check is I want to check if the costume is the Speed Boost costume. So the costume information is in looks. And there is a thing down here called costume number. So there's two ways you could do this. You could say, is it costume number 1? And if it is costume number 1, then you get a Speed Boost. And you can see that that worked, right? That's a totally fine way to leave it. So if I get it again, I'm now at 15. But if you would like, you can also, instead of number, you can change it to if the costume name is something. Now, the only thing you've got to be careful of here is you've got to spell it the same, right? So there, if it's equal to Speed Boost, then it'll go up. And so you can see that that worked fine. Now, I'm going to check what happens if you spell it similar but wrong, right? So what if I were to spell it Speed Boost? That's all lowercase, right? The answer is no Speed Boost. So you notice how it did not go up. It stayed right at 5. And the reason for that is that I spelled it wrong, right? So over here in the costumes, I said Speed Space Boost with capitals. And in the code over here, I said Speed Boost. Now, the thing Bob asked about is it case sensitive? Let's check, Bob. So if I get it now, oh, it is not case sensitive, Bob. So
all right, there we go. So the space mattered.
Space mattered.
The uppercase B, lowercase s, whatever,
did not matter.
Inconsequential.
Inconsequential. So
there you go.
Scratch was just a little forgiving of us there, which I appreciate. Now, which one is better is the next question. So to be honest, the number one is nice because there's no chance of a typo, right? So if I was working with little kids, I'd probably use the number just because there's so many typos. It's quite difficult. But to be honest, if I was working with little kids, I probably wouldn't do this game at all because this is not an easy game, right? So I actually like the word better because it helps with what's called code readability. And I will make it the same capitalization just because of convenience. But now I can easily see that if this costume is named Speed Boost, of course it's going to change the hero speed, right? And it makes it easier to read. All right, next thing we want to do. The next thing we want to do is we want to remove this power-up. We could, since there's only one power-up, do -5, but watch what's going to happen. So this is bad. Don't do this. You could change hero speed by -5, and it seems like that's going to work out great because I collect it. I'm at 10. Time passes, and then it drops me back to 5. That's great. What if I don't collect it? Well, if I don't collect it, oh shoot, I missed it, Bob. All right, I'm going to not collect it. Then if I don't collect it, when it resets, it removes the effect, what speed is it going to put me to? It's going to put me at a speed of 0. I'm dead in the water now, right? So that is actually not a very good solution to change by -5 because you don't know if they actually got it or not. And so what we want to do is we want to do some way of resetting it to the original speed. So what I want to do is I want to set the hero speed. Now here you've got another choice, right? So you could just type in the number 5. That works fine. There's nothing truly wrong with that. When I get it, I jump up to 10, and then when the effect goes away, it goes back to 5. The only thing that's wrong with that is that let's say you decide to change the speed of your game, and so you just say, hey, you know what? My hero speed, I see it right here, it's 5. I think this game would be more fun if it was 7, right? And maybe that's legit, and then you collect the power up and you go to 12. But then because you've got that number in 2 places, you forget to change it in the other place. And so this magic number that's in 2 places should really be a variable. Does that make sense? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make a new variable. This new variable is going to be called original hero speed. You can abbreviate if you'd like, so you can call it like ORG for like original hero speed. I'm going to make this variable, and I'm going to set it, I'm in the hero right now, I'm going to set it just before I set the hero speed. So I'm going to call it original hero speed. Now I actually kind of did like 5, so I'm going to set it to 5 right here, and then I'm going to use this variable in both places. And so now I'm going to use this variable here. So I'm going to set the hero speed to the original speed. And then also over here in the enemy, I'm going to find, the power up. I'm going to set the hero speed here to also be the original hero speed. So now, if I ever decide to change my game later, and I decide to change it to 2, right? I was like, hey, I think this would be really fun if I only could move it 2. Yeah, then the power up, the speed boost really is a bigger impact. Then it only has to be changed in one place. Yes. Cool. And then I don't want to show it on the screen, and I don't want to show that on the screen because it works. And then I do actually prefer 5 to 2. 2 is kind of painful, actually. Cool. Bob, I think we have a successful sprint. And so I got points for collecting it. I got a little pop sound. I like that you get points for it, because to be honest, if it wasn't for the points, I would probably just avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of hard to get them. By the way, if you are terrible at your game, it's just too hard, tweak it, right? I would say a big thing that makes the game hard is the size of the crabs, the speed of the crabs, and all these things you're allowed to control, right? So you might need to slow down your crab some. Oh, that was a close one. Depending on how good you get at this game. To be honest, I was kind of terrible at this game when we started this project, Bob, but I'm kind of getting better.
Oh yeah, you're pretty good at this game. Dave gets pretty good at games, so this is not a surprise to me that he's good at this game already. But
man, my son loves games. He's gonna get awesome at this game, I suspect. All right,
you gonna make him write it first? You're just gonna give it to him?
I'm gonna make him write it. Yeah, no, that's for sure. All right, I think that's a sprint. Let's go chat about it a little bit and see kind of what we learned. So we added power-ups. We added only one, but we also added all the infrastructure to where it's going to be easy to make a second and a third power-up and things like that. Some of the things that we tried to introduce you to, we always try to sneak in these things. We introduced blocks. We made 3 different blocks this time, showing the power-up, adding the effect, removing the effect. We added this concept of the timer, and we used that concept of the timer with the repeat until block. And you'll find that we're filling up your toolbox with tools, right? It's like you've got tools to where you can kind of do all these crazy things, and as you get better at them, you can just make cool things, and it's fun. We also had this idea of the costume name or number. You can use either in deciding, like, we used a fancy word here, Bob, state variable. You want to explain that to them?
Yeah, a state variable is a variable like you've seen Dave create throughout the game that really just tracks the state of a particular thing. So a lot of times in code, the things that you're doing don't have costumes. So you couldn't, for example, go check and say, what costume is this thing so I can make sure I do this thing later. So when we said that we use the costume name as a state variable, it was our way of identifying what power-up it was.
Yep.
A lot of times we would have to create a variable to track that. Every time every time a power-up was made, we'd have to say, oh, this one's a speed boost. Oh, this one's one of our future power-ups. But we got around that. We went ahead and used the costume name as the descriptor of what this thing was.
Yep. And the only reason we did that is because we're planning ahead, because we know what the finished product, like we know what our plan is of the finished product, and it's going to have multiple power-ups. And then we also did a bunch with random, but you know random by now. Yeah. Next time, what are we going to do? Just kind of like a little sneak peek. Next time, we're going to add some more power-ups. We're going to add a machine gun power-up, which is going to be fun. And then also the separate power-up called the shotgun. So, with bullets. So it should be fun to see some new power-ups. We will see you then.
See you next time.
Bye.